Call the member for Bendigo.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Today in the House, debate on the Abbott Government Fair Work Amendment Bill will resume, a bill that, in my opinion, will radically change workplace relations in this country again. I rise to advise the Chamber of an electronic petition that I've been made aware of on this very issue. Already, over 5,000 people have signed the petition started by Vanessa Harmon, a Melbourne and United Voice paramedic who is worried about losing her weekend and evening penalty rates because of the government's new individual contracts. The petition reads, "Greetings. Mr Abbott, please respect our sacrifice. Please respect the sacrifice that hard-working Australians and withdraw your new laws allowing penalty rates to be stripped and traded away. Australians trusted you when you promised that you would not touch our penalty rates. These new laws are a betrayal of that commitment." That is why 5,000 people already have signed this petition, Speaker. It is because the government has, in fact, betrayed their commitment they made to the Australian people prior to the election. United Voice members like Vanessa are the backbone of our community. They are paramedics, they are cleaners, they are bakers, they are security guards who work around the clock to keep our society functioning. They make an extraordinary sacrifice to do an important job, and they deserve to be compensated for these sacrifices. And these are the people who have the most to lose from these radical new laws. The government knows this, and that is why they are trying to hide. They are trying to hide behind simple words. They are trying to hide behind what they call simple amendments. These are not simple amendments. The PN in his cabinet are saying that people like Vanessa will get a choice about whether they sign these new contracts or not. But in the real world, under the Abbott government's new individual contracts, there will not really be a free choice. It'll be sign here or else. It'll be your workmate's done it, you should too. It'll be if you want the job, this is what you sign. And there are very few protections in what has been put forward to stop that from happening. Further still, once they have signed that piece of paper, it doesn't go to Fair Work Australia, it simply sits in the boss's inbox. It sits in the boss's inbox or it sits in their filing cabinet. The PM wants to make sure that it is harder and harder for workers to access information and support from their union. So if that piece of paper is sitting in your boss's inbox, you can't actually have a union official or organiser or delegate look at it because their ability to access the site under these proposed changes will be restricted. So it'll make it even easier for employees to be ripped off because they'll have less access to their union organiser and their union representation. Vulnerable workers, like young people and migrants who may not be aware of what their workplace rights are, have the most to lose. Labor is going to stand and oppose the Fair Work Amendment bills for these very basic principles. It is a continuation of the government's crusade against employment conditions for workers across Australia. And it is a continuation of the government's race to the bottom of labour standards. They cannot change their DNA on this one, Deputy Speaker. And it is time that they actually came clean and told the truth. If you want to take away people's working conditions, then at least be open enough to tell people about it. Instead, they are hiding behind what they call a minor amendments. Deputy Speaker, as I've demonstrated, these are not minor amendments. The changes to the individual flexibility agreements are a return to work choice conditions. The changes to right of entry provisions are a return to work choice conditions. The changes around transmission of business are a return to work choice conditions. And their changes around greenfields agreements are a return to work choices conditions. The Prime Minister said that work choices is dead, buried and cremated. But what we see from this legislation is that the ghost remains. And it doesn't matter how hard you try and hide behind the rhetoric, the reality is the reality. And whilst you allow employers to trade off penalty rates, to take them away from people, the community will know, just like the United Voice members like Vanessa knows, that this government has once again broken their promise.